Thanos versus the Arbiter. Now, this is a very interesting question, a kind of simple one at that. Let's start with Thanos. For reference, Thanos in this video will be Infinity War-ish Thanos. I mean, right in between, kind of. He won't have his gauntlet, he won't have his sword, he won't have any stones, it will just be his bare fists, and I'm going to put him at average height, about 7.5 feet. Then you have the Arbiter. Now, this dude is a menace. I mean, half the universe basically fears this dude. He rules over the planet St. Helios. He's also the leader of the Swords of St. Helios. He's the basically king of the St. Heli, or the elites. And he is also the right-hand man to the Master Chief himself. This dude's been a slave. He's done everything. He's fought in wars. He's been the most valuable person on the team. He's been the least valuable person on the team. He's literally been almost sacrificed in front of an entire audience of millions. So when I say this guy is no joke, I mean he is literally no joke. He is about 7'10" at the max. Now, let me say this. This fight is a lot more fair than a normal fight with Thanos. Normally, depending on the character, I would either say Thanos absolutely slams, or Thanos is getting brutally destroyed, or it's a lot more even. When I say this one's a lot more even, I literally mean this is probably a 50-50% chance either one could win. Well, what I mean by this is going to be a very close fight, I literally mean it's probably going to be a very close fight. The Arbiter doesn't wear normal elite armor. He wears traditional armor. So no shielding necessarily, or a very low shielding around the armor. It's just the armor itself. He even is bare on one shoulder. He also carries an orange blade, which symbols that he is the leader of the tribe, and is a little bit stronger than the normal elite blade. Now, granted, his opponent being Thanos is also extremely skilled. I mean, there are a dozen things you could say about Thanos, comics or not comics, that just shows that he's a very powerful being, like destroying Thor in a fight. Now, I do argue that he didn't actually beat Thor, he beat an older, weakened Thor, because his mental state wasn't right, because Stormbreaker, earlier in Infinity War, almost one-shotted Thanos, while in Endgame, he's actually beating Stormbreaker and Thor. It shows that Thor's mentality is off, and that made Thor weaker, so he was able to beat a much weaker Thor, an older Iron Man, and a much older Steve. Now, that doesn't mean that was not an insane, crazy feat, because it really was, because those three, even then, were extremely powerful. He did take on all three of them, and beat all three of them like it was nothing, like he just walked his dog in the park. The question is how would one of these fights go down between the two? If you say you give Thanos his armor, it's a lot more fair of a fight. But if you take off his armor and it's just the vest underneath, it is a lot easier for the Arbiter to kill him with just the sword or just a bare punch. Now, one of these fights would probably go down to be something like this. The Arbiter comes at him with the sword, probably misses, Thanos punches him in the side, and then Arbiter can cut off his head, if he's in the right position. Now, that also could mean that Thanos could pick him up and basically suplex him, breaking the neck of the Arbiter if Thanos is in the right position. At this point, because it's two very, very powerful leaders that understand consequences, although the Arbiter really understands the consequences because he was a literal slave for his entire life. I'd say it's a very, very fair fight. Yes, Thanos being much stronger, but with the Arbiter having a slight intelligence in battle-wise, and the fact that he has been his entire life a soldier, unlike Thanos, where he's been more of a king and leader figure, the Arbiter understands consequences in the battlefield. Unlike Thanos, where he could care less if one of his soldiers died. So, yes, I would say the Arbiter does have some different techniques that Thanos would not be able to counter with the sword. Now, I would say probably if this fight were to go down, both of them would come out very either bruised or hurt or almost to the point of death. It could go either way. If Thanos gets him in the right position, Thanos rips him apart very easily, disarms the sword. But if he hits Thanos with the sword too soon, Thanos is also dead. So I give this fight a 50-50% chance that either one could win. It is also all about perspective, so whatever your all's perspective is and who would win this fight, probably would end up winning that fight. Remember, this is just my opinion. You're perfectly allowed to have your own. And if you want, drop it down in the comments and I will respond. And may your new year be amazing, and may 2026 not be full of brain rot.